All right, hello again to all of you watching us on YouTube. This is Chris Hoffman. Alongside me is Ian Smith in the Mobile Weather Lab. We are currently in Homewood on North Braddock Avenue. Feel free to tell us what your road is looking like and what neighborhood you are in the comments. Feel free to send a picture as well if you can, because this is what we're looking at now. North Braddock's a little bit of a busier road, so it looks a little better getting pass-throughs. You can see just on the other side of Bennett Street, it is a little bit more snow covered. Might be a little bit hard to tell with the vehicle in front of us. For the most part, most secondaries and some tertiaries are in better shape. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. I don't think most drivers would tell you that. I do think, having gone around yesterday, today, through several city neighborhoods, things are looking much better. Now, we did just go through some alleyways and some secondaries that definitely need to be hit again. You can tell maybe a plow has been through here in the last couple days, but recently, no. And definitely salting needs to happen. As something even city leaders like Mayor Corey O'Connor say they need to get done, because this compacted snow especially, can become an ice skating rink. Right now, you're going to look at, let me see what the GPS wants to tell me here, what street we are on in Homewood.
I tell you what we're going to do, Chris. We're going to go down. This is Flurry Way. Now, it's kind of an alleyway here, but it hasn't been touched. So we're going to give you a look here of what it's like on one of these roads that still has a foot of snow on it here.
Yeah, this is definitely an example of, like you just heard from Ian there, this is a road that definitely has not been touched, and all it has had is cars drive through it. This would be one of those tertiary roads that the city says they still need to get to. They have hit several, but you still can see here, it's a road that has not been touched. All it has is some tire tracks. If you can hear the car, here, I'll lower the window. You can hear how the car is doing. And it's a workout. This is a 4x4 car. Now, you can see probably why this is lower on the scale. There's not really homes on this road, not even really driveways, so you can see why it is lower in scale. But with that being said, obviously still used by people, considering there are tire tracks on it, something the city says they are trying to get to. 47 city vehicles are working to clear snow, not helping. They're part of the city's plan. Dozens of contractors still on board trying to get to that snow and remove it. In all, the city has removed more than 10,000 tons of snow, but you can still see roads like this. This is Flurry Way in Homewood, one of those alleys that would be on the tertiary scale, but still needs some work. As again, you can just see tire tracks going through here, and we can feel the snow giving some pushback, definitely, to the weather lab, to say the least. And that arguably has to be one of the worst roads we have seen so far. So this is not the norm by any means. So we're about to.
If you look here, there's snow piled up on the exit. There's like a wall to get through. So if you're not in a giant, now we're in a four-wheel drive. It's a big, heavy vehicle. We can kind of push through it, and it's a struggle. Like, I had to kind of gun it there to get through it, but you can see that it's not easy. It's certainly not easy. If you try to come down that way in any kind of sedan or anything, you're not making it. You're done.
Now, Kelly Street here, I would say this is probably the norm for secondary streets. Is this perfect? No. Can you drive on it in just about any car? Yeah. Would you say this is kind of the normal from what we've seen today?
Yeah, I'd say this isn't bad. You can get around this in a sedan. Certainly, if you have an SUV, you're going to have no problem. But again, some of these alleyways, and there are homes. I mean, that we were going down the other end of Flurry there. There were some driveways there where people would park their cars, and I mean, I'm assuming a lot of them have made other plans. But if you're in there, it'd be very hard to get out of that. So yeah, if you get onto the more some of the more main streets here again, like Kelly, it's certainly passable, Chris.
And now the other challenge we're starting to see now is people having to dig out their cars. Now this is an example you can tell, like the person threw the snow into the road. That's becoming a challenge for crews, because they come through and clear it, and then once you throw that snow back into the road, that's not part of the plan necessarily, I should say, because they've already come through and cleared the road. They're not expecting more snow in the road. Now the challenge has become, where do you put that snow? And that is why contractors have been coming in with those front loaders, skid loaders. We've seen in municipalities like Sharpsburg as well, to try to literally haul the snow away because there is nowhere to put it on the streets. You can't bury the sidewalks, and you can't just bury people's front yards.
Here's another one, Chris. This is Formosa. All right, give this a try.
Definitely another one of those alleyways that has not been touched and has only been hit by people driving on it.
Yeah, this one's particularly tough here. Like the grooves are kind of all over, and we're sliding. We're definitely sliding, and I don't know if you could get through this with any vehicle that didn't have complete four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
And this is heavy too, so it helps cut through it. But yeah, it would be zero chance if you're in a sedan or a front-wheel drive or anything.
So, and that's kind of the situation we've seen. Like, this is probably actually some of the worst we have seen. We have been in Troy Hill. We've been over in Squirrel Hill, Mount Washington. What else was it? Carrick. And this is probably arguably some of the worst we have seen. Feel free to drop in the YouTube comments what you are seeing in your neighborhood and what municipality you're in. Because it's not just the city that's digging out. Other municipalities are still going through the same problem. We're in Sharpsburg, and there's the challenge of removing snow, where, again, they have their fair share of tight roads, alleyways, where you have to dig out. We actually saw where a garbage truck was trying to get around a turn. It got stuck in a snowbank and couldn't have been more than a foot or so away from hitting a house, and it had to be towed out. They had to bring in one of those big tow trucks and start pulling it out. But again, you're looking at Formosa Way in Homewood, and that is one of those alleyways that has not been touched at this point. Still has a foot of snow sitting there. We are turning now onto North Braddock Avenue, and that's just the counter opposite. You can get through. It's okay. Not looking nearly as rough. We're going to make a right now onto Kelly Street. Again, much more passable, but the big thing is now, where do you put this snow that has buried in some of the cars now for days? You can see people still cleaning off some of their cars, still digging out spots to put their cars if they have to get out, and that has certainly been a challenge around. Working around the clock. It is tough to pinpoint a timeline on getting all this snow out of here because the weather certainly has not helped with these temperatures, making us feel like we live in northern Canada. It is not doing any favors because even treated roads, it doesn't take much snow to blow or be dumped on it from wherever to make it a challenge. You can actually see where a truck looks like it recently came through Kelly Street here, because you can see where that white compacted snow is, trying to make it a two-way street again. Many streets still operating, if they are two-way streets, still operating as single-lane roads because there's been a single pass done, but there hasn't been that secondary pass.
I was just, as we were going down Kelly, I saw like two pedestrians, and the road, the sidewalks haven't been touched, and you got a lot of times in people in these neighborhoods, you know, they take buses, or they're not commuting with a car, so they have to walk. Here's some kids walking here. I mean, it is really dangerous because the only way to get through it is to walk on the street. I mean, it's really hard for somebody to walk through a foot of snow. It really is tough. So yeah, I mean, that's the next challenge, is you got to get these sidewalks done and things like that.
And that's where the city has said, like, if you need help, reach out to their Snow Angels program, because sidewalks usually fall into the responsibility of the property owner. And I know that can obviously be a challenge for many people due to health conditions or age. So the city has said, if you need help clearing a sidewalk, let them know so people can get out there, help dig that out so you can get out of your home. And for people that use those sidewalks, they're able to use them too, so or able to use it, especially if kids or or anyone for that matter is walking to a bus stop, a destination, anywhere. Because here's another example of where someone is using the road once again because the sidewalk is under inches of snow, and that just creates a safety hazard because some of these roads aren't wide right now with the snow banks, and then you have pedestrians obviously, and they're trying to get to where they're going. It's a tough situation for everyone involved. So again, if you can clean your sidewalks, please be sure to do that. If you can't, let your municipality know. It's not just the city. There's many municipalities that have sidewalks. Many municipalities dealing with several foot snow banks and nowhere to put that snow. Again, we saw in Sharpsburg, they're doing much of what we're seeing here. They got contractors in by using that state of emergency. So they were using front loaders, skid loaders to load up trucks and literally haul the snow out of town. In Pittsburgh, there's several locations they are using, some city-owned, some land that other people have essentially volunteered for snow to be dumped at. We know one location, talking with a contractor the other day, was some land near the zoo where they were hauling the snow. And my goodness, there are some icicles on these houses out here that, my goodness. I know at my own house I have some icicles that I need to take care of probably when I get home. But right now you are looking at Seegert Street in Homewood. Again, feel free to leave in those comments what street you're on, what it looks like. Maybe if you've seen a plow, haven't seen a plow, what municipality you're in. Because again, we know how people around this region live in more than just a city. We know several places got more than a foot of snow. Some places in our region almost 2 feet of snow, and it has been a challenge for many municipalities. I can tell you where I live, east of the city, my street has been plowed, but it's not, wasn't clear. It's just a layer of snow, and my wife and I drive sedans, so it is not the easiest getting around. But now you can look here at, what is this one here? This is Nimick Place, and you can see it's kind of just slushy.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, not the best, not the worst, but definitely a situation where they definitely need to clear this, because you're going at that hill up there, and that's no easy task.
Yeah, we were just right before we got on the last street. It was Togard, and they have a hill that goes straight up, and this is a pretty big hill here too. Not bad. They did a good job getting this cleared, because if you're trying to get up a hill and there's layers of snow, it's really going to be impossible. So I think they've done a nice job, like right here. This is really clear. This would have been really hard, even in the mobile weather lab, to get up if we weren't, if it wasn't somewhat clear like that.
Oh yeah, well, nice view, beautiful view of the sunset. If you're looking through the dash cam here, great sunset. About the only nice thing with this weather. And now we're trying to head down. Not even sure where this is.
There's like a mountain of snow down here.
Yeah, you can see where a plow came through. Oh, looks like okay. So the way the road bends, they must have just dumped the snow into the bed.
Like
yeah,
it was in the road.
it almost looks like wow, what a hairpin turn this is. Yeah. And that's certainly what does not help any municipality in our region, is certainly this topography. We're not like Midwest states, which are flat, have a grid. So that's the other challenge for many municipalities, many public works crews, is you have these crazy hills that are hard to drive on when it's 75 and sunny, let alone 0 degrees and snow covered. We're still going through Homewood. Again, Chris Hoffman, Ian Smith here with the KDKA and the KDKA Mobile Weather Lab. We appreciate you joining us here on YouTube Live. And again, feel free, leave in the comments. What are you seeing in your neighborhood? Say where you are. Say what the street is. Heck, leave a picture if you can as well. If you're not able to leave a picture in YouTube comments, I am showing my age then, thinking everything can have media. So maybe it is just a comment. Regardless, leave a comment. Feel free to tell us where you are, what you're seeing on your street. And this is a prime example of what some of these streets are. This is obviously a two-way street, but it's operating like a single lane, so we're the ones, getting into the snow, letting that sedan come up the hill. So that is certainly the challenge. We're now, so this is Wood Street. This is actually Wilkinsburg. You can tell by can tell with the sign change there.
Oakwood over here.
So wow, really, actually we're right on the line of City and Wilkinsburg border there. This is now Oakwood Street. We are turning onto,
It looks like Tioga.
Or Tioga, that is, excuse me. We're on to Tioga now, into this is probably more of like the Lincoln-Leamington neighborhood. And again, look, is this perfect? No. Is this passable? Yes. You certainly need to take your time on some of these roads. Main roads, those have not been an issue actually for a couple of days. Since Monday, main roads have been pretty good shape. If you've been needing to get out and go, you can. It's honestly some of these residential roads, which I know obviously that can be the challenge. If you can't get off your own street, how are you going to get onto a main road? And the city says they are still trying to tackle these secondary and tertiary roads. They do realize they need to plow and especially salt some of them, because there is the concern that this compressed snow will freeze and essentially you'll have more than 1,000 miles of skating rinks
One thing
around
I just
the city.
noticed, Chris, is we went through that intersection there. I've seen this at a lot of intersections where the snow from the cars and maybe the plows so the road may be somewhat clear, and then you get to an intersection and there's like a bunch of snow in the road. So if you're moving even at the speed limit, that could be a dangerous move at the moment, because you could just all of a sudden you're driving down a somewhat clear road and all of a sudden you're just hitting that snow and you could lose control or get stuck. So yes, these are things you need to really watch out for. Even if your street appears pretty clear, like here's not bad, but if you're trying to make this turn, which we're going to do, and there's a lot of snow.
You can't be whipping it.
No, you certainly don't want to whip it, even when it's warm out. But even there, like, see, the snow is sticking out in the road a little bit, so that's easy to catch a wheel on and lose control awfully quick.
And that's a good point. Yeah, still, just because things are passable doesn't mean it's ideal. Very, very little of that around. Just right there. If you you're watching through our dash cam, you can see it. We kind of got a little bit of the back end kind of whipped around there, just because it's still not ideal. Now, salt. That we know from many municipalities, that has been a challenge, as some of them are running low on that because of salt companies not getting stuff up here as quickly. But again, feel free to tell us what you are seeing in your neighborhood. You're looking at Susquehanna Street in Homewood, Lincoln, Leamington area, that kind of neighborhood, in the east end of the city, right near Wilkinsburg. So we're going to see you guys at the top of the hour in the 6 o'clock. We'll still be in the mobile weather lab. We'll be on air on the TV if you get us one way or another that way. So feel free to tune in then. We thank you again for joining us on YouTube Live, trying to reach you in other ways, reach you on the linear TV, reach you on web as well, as we continue to expand our footprint. Thank you again for tuning in. Feel free again to let us know what's it looking like in your neighborhood in those comments.